So then, hello, Don Nakamura. My name is Sage Blake. I'm a wanderer, storyteller, artist immature, and I've got a few stories to tell about this one. So,
Hello. Persona.
if I can switch tabs, that'd be really nice. There we go. And poke. That's not what I meant to hit. There we are. So, I have a couple stories to tell about this one. Specifically, the fact that I was honestly going to skip over playing Robo Blast 2. Like, period. Mostly because it just didn't interest me at the time. And it hasn't interested me for years, actually. But as it turns out, several things throughout the recent time period have effectively pulled me in. The first of which came up earlier this year, Sonic Robo Blast 2 Kart. I played that as one of the first streams I ever did within like the first few months, and I liked it. It was really fun to play. I had quite a few different tracks. It has a lot of potential, and it's still going to this day. But I essentially stopped after a point, mostly because, well, I've been busy, and while it was fun on its own, it didn't really draw my attention into Robo Blast 2 at all. I'd seen gameplay footage of Robo Blast 2, and since then, Mega G Wolf has put up his entire playthrough of it, and yeah. My opinions on the Robo Blast 2 engine are still mostly the same. It's a bit on the stiff side in terms of while you're in the air. It's nice to control on the ground, but other than that, I've always felt that it's a bit awkward, mostly to control. Then, during the Sonic and Amateur Games Expo of 2020, a project known as Outcross Hunter came up, which is using an engine similar to Robo Blast 2's for its own work. I had most of the same complaints for that engine as I do for Robo Blast 2. On the ground, it feels really nice. In the air, it's incredibly stiff and awkward to control. And I don't exactly like that. I was starting to even then, with the additional practice, I was starting to warm up to Robo Blast 2 a little bit. I wasn't convinced to download it until this released, literally last week. This is Sonic Robo Blast 2 Persona. And I'm going to curse you with terrible voice acting for a couple moments. Over there! It's a shadow! Right, all we have to do to fight it is just jump on it. Let's get this party started! For those who are unfamiliar with how Persona works, I'll do my best to explain things, and that tutorial will also help to do that too. And cancerous female voice in game.
They look fairly weak. We should be able to use our personas to take care of them. Use these buttons to select the skill option with the A button. Then, use these to select which skill to use, and choose your target. The skill will be immediately used after you press the button, and your turn will be over. Catch all that? Alright, let's show them what we're made of.
So to start with, Persona is a Japanese RPG, or JRPG for short. Your objective is pretty simple.
I'll take care of them. You're mine.
Murk your opponents before they can murk you. Usually, that just means attacking them until their HP runs to 0.
Great moves! Just skills are quite powerful, but they cost resources. Magic skills have elemental affinities as well as high accuracy. They also cost a fixed amount of SP to use. Physical skills, however, cost you a portion of your HP. They have lower accuracy, but hit harder. Our enemies are weak now. It might be a bit overkill to use skills. Let's use a regular physical attack to finish the job.
You're mine!
Comparatively, physical attacks have a bit more power behind them, but they also miss more often. At that, physical attacks also have their own elements as opposed to, in addition to the magical attacks having their own as well. At any point while dungeon crawling, you can also use up skills, like Dia to heal up allies, or maybe even restore status. You can also access the items you've got in your bag, add sub-personas, which we'll get to in another tutorial, check on the status of your party, as well as how much XP it's going to take to level up, and adjust some additional settings. But back to how Persona works on the whole. If I remember correctly, there are 3 different weapon elements, so those being Slash, Smash, and Stab. Usually, a physical attack will have 1 or maybe even 2 of those elements. More often than not, it's just 1. And as for magical attacks, there are about 7 elements, excluding Almighty, which is effective against everything. Come on. There we are. Those elements are Agi for fire, Bufu for ice, Zyle, or Zeal, for electricity, Garu for wind, Bless for light, and Curse for dark.
Each of our skills have a type. For instance, you can use Agi, the fire type skill. Every shadow we fight has different elemental affinities.
And so do the Persona, too.
Some might be neutral to fire, others weak to it or resistant. I can tell you for sure all of these here are weak to fire. Give it a shot.
I'll take care of them.
Agi!
Alright, 1 down.
That was awesome! Every time you hit an enemy's weakness, you'll knock them down. If the enemy wasn't already down, it'll earn you another turn to attack. This is 1 more. Go ahead, use your extra turn to knock down another enemy.
This is where we get into a bit more of the complexities of Persona. If you can knock down every single enemy, you'll get an all-out attack.
1 down.
The problem is, you won't know the enemy's weakness until you've successfully hit them with the weakness, or otherwise scanned them. Every time you hit an enemy's weakness, you can either continue to use skills to continue hitting on weaknesses to get that all-out attack, but you could also baton pass every time you succeed on getting a 1 more. Passing the baton to another character who's yet to move will boost their attack power, and recovery power too. Unfortunately, it will also consume their turn. It's up to you to determine whether it's a good idea or not to switch, depending on the situation. And all enemies down. When you knock down every single enemy, you can choose to use the all-out attack. It deals drastic damage to all enemies directly. Unfortunately, there are 2 caveats with that. 1, it pretty much guarantees the enemy goes next after the all-out attack. 2, if you don't kill an enemy, then it still remains. Just because it's drastic damage doesn't mean that it can be fatal to an enemy. As a result, maybe it's better off to pass in certain situations, just to heal up your characters, or set up your next turns.
Okay, for our next lesson, I'll be your opponent.
This is when we get into some of the complexities of Robo Blast 2 Persona.
Alright, Sonic, show me your best shot.
Let's go.
Alright, Agi. Eha. Eha is a curse element.
Enemies can really do a number on you if they figure out your weakness. If you know an enemy can target your weakness, try guarding.
Defending will prevent you from being knocked down from super effective attacks. It will also reduce the damage you take across the board.
Be careful though, guarding only works against one attack a turn.
Hold on a second. I know you know my enemy weakness is my elemental weakness, but where'd you learn to use Eha? Don't you specialize in wind-type skills?
I got that from a sub-persona. They can alter your skills and statistics. Here, I'll lend you one. Navigate to the sub-persona menu and use Zion.
Once per unit's turn, you can change your sub-persona. Each sub-persona will grant you additional stats, or even penalize you certain stats too. In this case, we've got Pixie, increasing my magical attack and agility. Agility is essentially your accuracy and dodge rate, if I remember correctly. Yeah, they're linked to the same thing. Once you switch your sub-persona, you gain access to the abilities of that sub-persona. In this case, Pixie grants us Dia for healing, and Zio.
One down.
Sub-personas are powerful. Pay attention to the stat changes. This isn't really a problem with weaker personas, but stronger ones yield bigger stat changes, both positive and negative.
How do you get one though?
I got mine after finishing a battle with an all-out attack.
By the way, I can feel the Chaos Emerald again.
That's good. The emeralds have no power on their own during the dark hour. You can change their power by dealing damage or guarding. You'll get more energy by hitting weaknesses or critical hits. With at least one unit of emerald power, you can activate Hyper Mode. Try it out.
Triggering Hyper Mode is a free action. It won't cost your turn, but it only affects the unit in which you're currently using. While in Hyper Mode, your attacks and healing abilities have more power. And getting hit also won't knock you down. Also won't knock you down if the enemy scores a crit or a weakness. It also reduces your damage a little bit too. It's not as good as guarding, but it can help you in a pinch. And if I remember correctly, it also does provide a flat boost across the board to your stats. If you think you're pressured, use it.
Multiple people can use Hyper Mode at the same time, so long as they can activate it. But charging the energy becomes harder for each simultaneous action. Keep that in mind. You might also find some skills require Emerald power instead of HP or SP. It's up to you to figure out how you want to use your power. Lastly, because the Emeralds only seem to respond to combat tension, all of their power is lost when the battle ends. Don't be afraid to make use of what power you have during a fight.
So, with that little tutorial settled, I figure, at least for right now, I'm gonna run a round by myself. Mostly because, for right now at least, Robo Blast 2 Persona is in its 1.2. Specifically, that last two updates were to fix a bunch of bugs and balance the multiplayer a bit. But the problem is, multiplayer is based off of IP addresses and port forwarding, similar to Robo Blast 2 normally. I can't exactly use that due to multiple complications, among which being that I don't exactly own my router. It's on rent. At that, it's also owned by family and not myself, so yeah. I can still join a game, I believe, but even then, I figure to start up at least... Oh, hey there, Daniel. How's it going? I've played a little bit of SRB2 Persona, just mostly to test settings and gimmick with controls. I got Reapered along the way. Oh, nice! Here's hoping your workout goes well. Yeah. let's just start with a vision quest. Yeah, I noticed that. Just when I was setting the controls earlier in the week, I ended up flailing a bit with the buttons a little too long and ended up getting ambushed several times over by the Reaper. Then the Reaper got his murder on, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I still know that, actually. It's part of the, settings. Well, specifically the, actually, not the netplay settings, but... I know I saw them at one point, but you're right on that one. You can set it before setting up a room and whatnot. I'm trying to remember exactly how, but... That's not it. Just in case. Ah, gameplay options under network. My apologies. Heck. Wow, I'm hard derping. Another... Yeah, there are a couple things that do need to be tweaked, but that'll come with time, I assume. Oh, wait, gameplay options. So yeah, I did... The original turn timer is like 35 seconds. I upped it to 40, so it's a little more forgiving. You can also toggle the Reaper off, but where's the fun in that? It's fun getting murdered by something you don't know. I figure an 8-minute time limit is a fair enough setting. If anything, it's a little too forgiving, but hey. But yeah. Max 3 matches per floor. Yeah, it depends on mostly the layouts that you get and whatnot, but you have a point. Whee! So yeah, Coliseum is your standard PvP mode. In my opinion, Persona is just not balanced for PvP, like, period. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. You have a schedule to keep with your workout, and keep it. In terms of characters that we've got, I'll do my best to explain each and every one of them, their perks and whatnot. That's already explained within text, but I can be a little more detailed too. Sanic is the fastest character of the lot, meaning he's more likely to dodge attacks, more likely to hit attacks. He's across the board useful. Learns some decent fire and strike attacks. But by himself, he's not exactly the best character of the lot. Especially since he's weak to curse. I don't know why Sonic gets fire attacks as opposed to, I don't know, wind, but hey. Tails is one of the two healers that exists at base. He learns some decent Bless and Psychic abilities in his moveset. And at that, he has some great luck and magical attack power. He's made of glass, though. Provided you can keep Tails alive, he'll be a very reliable healer. But, again, it's a matter of keeping him alive in the first place. Knuckles is your standard physical attacker. He learns some great physical abilities, and electric abilities too. But he's the slowest character of the lot, likely to take the most hits, and he doesn't have much SP to worry about as well, so he won't be using too many skills, really. Well, provided they're not physical. Amy is your other healer. She's great at using wind attacks, but not so much with HP as well. She's also not a good physical attacker whatsoever, unlike Tails. Metal Sonic is your magic sweeper. He's really great at using magical abilities, and he can apparently take a blow pretty well too. He doesn't have much SP at his disposal though. At that, most of his attack techniques are nuclear element. Right, I forgot nuclear and psionic were elements as well. Gah. Shadow is your buffer. He can learn some fire abilities, sure, but his best abilities are either offensive or just support. Right out the gate, he learns an ability to boost party defense, so that's gonna be pretty useful for most maps. Eggman focuses on draining abilities and one-shots. Really great in that respect, really great luck. Don't ask him to do anything melee. At that, try to keep him away from the light and psychic abilities. Blaze, for whatever reason, uses ice, which is even more confusing. Because normally her abilities are fire. This is why I was bringing that up. I mean, really now. Sonic, I feel like, should have some type of wind ability. Maybe if anything, he should have the ice. Well, but Blaze kind of needs fire. Maybe that's just me? I don't know. Anyway, I haven't really used her much, but apparently she's a decent magic sweeper, and has a bunch of area attacks to use. Then there's Silver. Call me a sucker, I kinda like using Silver. He specializes in psychic attacks. Really great magical power. Kinda made of glass, though. He also uses a bunch of ailments, such as Charm and whatnot as well, so might be useful in that respect. When I'm playing by myself, the few times that I played this by myself, the party I ended up using was, like, Silver, Tails, Shadow, and for the fourth character, I essentially picked whoever. I haven't tried Metal Sonic yet, so let's pull him in. Generally, a good party will have a magic sweeper, a physical sweeper, and a healer.
Looks like this one's for me.
And to start with, magic hand.
Let's go!
Resist fire. Okay.
Let's go! That's my chance.
Masai.
Looks like I'm on a roll.
And since that was successful at knocking down targets, I can switch over to another unit and see if that can help. Since Shadow's already gone, I can't switch to him, so let's switch to Metal Sonic. See if Cry is useful against you. I could use Snap. Cry. And that was effective! I don't know why the arenas won't let you use all out attacks. That's kind of weird in that. But okay. Felled. And...
Don't get in my way.
Yeah, let's just have Tails attack. Even if you knock down a target, it doesn't mean that they're disabled. They can still get up within their next turn and cause some havoc for you. The arena works differently than the Dungeon Crawler mode, specifically because it's a bunch of waves of enemies.
Perfect as always.
Oh, crit. Cool. So that means I can Baton Pass. Probably to Silver. I believe Magic Hand was still weak to Psychic.
Prepare to meet your doom.
So that'll at least get me another one more.
Just as I expected.
swap over to Metal Sonic. And let's try Snap. Yep, no such luck.
Here it comes!
I don't know if these guys are weak to Blast. As it turns out, no. Damn. Maybe I should have gone to Focus Ring. Ah, crap.
Sonic!
Well, lost Tails. That's my fault. I do have a 1-up, so might as well use it, right?
Don't get in my way.
The arena gives you limited items at your disposal, so be careful with how many you use and in what situations you use them. Grave Beetle and
Just watch
Slow
this.
Relics.
Come on.
Oh shoot, you also have a
Leave
time
it
limit.
to
I
me.
didn't realize that.
Take this.
I'll beat you!
Yeah, Tails is gonna need to focus on healing.
Everything will be okay.
And as for Metal Sonic, yeah, I might as well try Fry. Damn it. Kakukasha increases your defenses.
I'll take you on.
Let's see. I think Cleave will kill.
Let's go.
I could increase magic attack, but
This will end
I don't
it.
think it'll matter all that much. Let's
Don't
just
get
hit
in
him with
my
what I've
way.
got. Koha! That costs a lot. Holy shit. As a note, magical attacks will use up SP, physical attacks will use up HP. So for Cleave here, I'm sacrificing 8 HP on Shadow to use that attack.
I'll take care
Keep
of
an
this.
eye on your HP. It's a valuable
How about
resource,
this?
not just for survival, but also for your offensive skills too. If your allies are running too low, you might want to hold off on them a little more and heal them. Persona is a very tactical turn-based RPG, and if you're not careful with what actions you
Just
use
watch
when,
this.
you will easily perish.
This is it.
Whew! Inflicted with burn.
I'll take care of this. Take this.
And cleared. Metal Sonic's not that bad, all things considered. Double Showdown. Fend off waves of enemies from the double block to acquire points until time runs out. I could probably pull in Amy instead of Shadow. And I guess I could pull in Blaze too, just to see how she works. As for the fourth character, I guess Nux. Give him a shot. Five minutes to kill as many enemies as possible.
Don't get in my way. Take this.
Gonna have to operate
I'm
somewhat
not
quickly
going
in
to
order
go
to
easy
get as
on
many
you.
attacks as possible out. These guys are going to be resistant to ice, if I remember correctly, so just hit them.
Okay, leave it to me.
Weak to them.
Too good. I can handle this. You're asking for it.
Felt the second enemy. And yeah, let's swap into Nux. Give him a chance to shine.
Ready. All right.
Sonic Punch. Second enemy killed.
Don't get in my way. This will end it.
Let's plug up a Makakaja.
Leave it to me. I'll take you all
Boo-foo.
on. Yes. I'm not going to go easy on you.
And yeah, just hit him with another boost.
Let's go.
My health is doing fine, so let's win apparently.
Got it.
And Zeo. Damn, resistance Zeo. I did not want that.
Leave it to me. How about this?
Psy. Get some damage on the board.
Leave it to me.
I should probably do some healing. So let's take care of Amy quick. Conserve a bit of SP.
All right.
Smash. Oh, come on! Maybe I shouldn't have conserved.
How about this?
Slap.
Is that all you got?
That's that enemy down.
I'll take care of this. This
My
will
side.
end it.
Leave it to me.
Just in case. Mabuki. Yep, thought so. Blocked. That's why I wasn't using ice. Because, if I remember correctly, heat balance resists both ice and fire. Which is why wind is useful.
Okay. You're asking for it.
Third round kill. Is it third round killed? Cowardly Maya.
Leave it to me. That's
Masai.
my chance.
I believe that will be 2 down.
Just as I expected.
Then I can baton pass over to Blaze.
I'm not going to go easy on you.
Mabufu will get us another 1 down. Take out 2 enemies.
Yes.
I can pass again. Probably to Knuckles, so he can use his physical ability.
I've got it.
Sonic Punch. Whew! You know what? I'm on a roll. Oh, come on. Fine. Fine, game.
Let's go. Okay.
Got it.
I'm just too good.
Enemy felled.
I'll take care of this.
Masai. Do we still have that magic box? Holy shit. Mabufu.
Is that all you've got? Let me manage.
Got her.
Excellent.
Third enemy killed. Next round.
Don't get in my way.
Masai.
Just as I expected.
Still Relic. I don't know what it's weak to, so let's pull an Amy just to try and get some win.
Let's go. Okay. No way.
And it blocks win. Perfect. So in that case, Blaze, Mabufu.
I'm not going to go easy on you.
2 enemies killed.
All right.
Smash him, Nuts.
All right.
3 enemies killed.
It's no use.
Masai. That's 2 weaknesses.
Just as I expected. I'll take care of
Just in
this.
case.
Perfect.
Just go full shutdown.
Don't get in my way.
Oh wow, this is gonna be another easy round.
Looks like I'm on a roll. It's no use. Is that all you got?
And time. I believe there's like 7 or 8 waves worth of enemies. If I was talking a little less, maybe I could wipe out another wave on top of that, but even then, providing decent commentary is better than playing well.